Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Meet the Speakers series for Blogpaws 2012. My name is Robert Allen. On today's show, we have one of the more popular speakers at Blogpaws 2012, and we know this because she's a people's choice. You've brought her back. This is her third appearance at Blogpaws. I'd like to welcome Lena West.
Hey, Robert.
Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us today.
You're more than welcome. Thanks for having me.
You were a speaker last year, and not only are you coming back as a speaker again this year, but you're keynoting day 2, right?
Yes.
Saturday morning. We're gonna have you address the entire audience at Blogpaws 2012, which, for those of you who don't know, is taking place in Salt Lake City. And we'd like you to join us. But if you can't join us, we're going to be presenting for the very first time Blogpaws virtually in an online experience, and you will be able to see 2 full tracks of the Blogpaws conference right from where you are in front of your own computer. And we're so happy that Lena, your breakout session is going to be part of one of those tracks, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. But if there happens to be someone in the world who doesn't know you and know who you are, which I can't imagine that being, why don't you give our audience a little sense of who Lena West is and what brings you to where we are today?
Well, you're too kind, Robert. Thank you. I appreciate that. So I am a social media marketing mentor. And that means I work with small business owners, primarily women entrepreneurs, to help them to figure out this whole social media thing. I think I refer to it a lot of times as social media spaghetti, just because it's just, everywhere and there's all these moving parts. And so what I do is I help business owners to get a sense of stepping back and getting in control of their social media marketing instead of letting social media marketing pull them around and lead them around by the leash. I help them to step back and say, okay, what's my plan here? What's my strategy? What's the bigger picture? Do I need to be on Facebook? Do I need to be this? Do I need to be on Twitter? And really get a sense of where they need to be in their own space and time, as opposed to bright, shiny object syndrome and just doing some of everything and hoping something sticks. So I'm a planner and a strategist by nature. Um, I have recently changed my business model because after speaking with my own coach, I decided that I had a bit of a commitment a bit of a commitment clash in my business. In that, on one hand, I was saying, I really want to work with as many small business owners as I possibly can because they really need to understand that they can be successful with social media marketing. It doesn't have to be painful. Um, and they need to understand my system because if they could just get my system in their hands, they could do this. They could really do this. And so my coach said, yeah, that's great, but it also costs $15,000 to get you to do a social media strategy for someone. So we got a bit of a disconnect here, Lena. And I said, you know what? You're right. And so last year, what I did was I reinvented my business. And now what I have are membership levels, and everyone has access to me at different price points, starting at $5 a month. I mean, it really makes me and my systems more accessible. And more importantly, it helps me to fulfill something that I'm passionate about that I can talk about all day long, which is small business owners being super successful in reaching who they need to reach online. And I know that can happen. I believe in that happening. And so this is my life's work for right now.
Well, it sounds great, and I've been exploring your website for your company, Influence Expansion, which I love. It's just such a beautifully designed website. I really, it really
Thank
just hit
you.
me, everything about it. But something struck me about what you were saying, and I have to say this, as by way of advice to our viewers. When you're looking at a speaker, here's Lena, who's an established speaker. If you look at her credentials on her website, the press that she's gotten, and you have a coach. You have
Yes.
someone who helps you, and when you look for someone to guide you, you have to look for someone who practices what they preach. You really do. And here it is, someone who so many people turn to you and look to you as an expert. And here it is that you're still in the learning process yourself, and
Always.
reinventing and evolving and changing as the climate changes. And we had a little bit of a laugh before we started recording about, talking about, where you are at this very moment. And I think successful business people and entrepreneurs should always be on a journey. They should
Yes.
always be changing and evolving, and you shouldn't be at the same place you were just a year ago, or 6 months ago, or a month ago, or a day ago. You should be on that. So I applaud you for
Oh,
really practicing what you preach, and I think that's a good
thank you.
sign of a great mentor. Really is
Yeah.
is what you are. I
You
applaud
can't
you
do
for
it
that.
alone.
You can't.
I tell all my students and my clients, I'm like, what you need is you need to understand the mechanics of whatever it is that you're trying to learn, whether it's learning from someone like you about how to, do video and podcasting and that sort of thing, or whether it's learning, how to ride a bike. You can't do that by yourself.
Absolutely not.
You need someone that's going to hold you accountable to taking you to the next level. And you also need someone that's going to say, okay, here's how you can avoid all the pitfalls and get right on the success track. So for me, it's a no-brainer. And I mean, I have more than one coach, right? So I'm constantly working on what can I do better? How can I do this better? How can I improve? And working with a coach or a mentor helps you to do that.
Yeah, and the better you are, the more you can help everyone in that chain.
Yeah,
That goes along. Yeah,
every single time I have a session with my coach or I sit down with my mentor of 15 years, I become a better mentor to my clients. I become a better teacher to the students in my programs. And it's just a domino effect.
absolutely, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And I'm looking forward to your sessions. Now, we're not going to give away a whole lot of information. We're going to call and get close to the vest,
Okay? Close to the
but
vest.
close to the vest. And so you have a keynote address
Yes.
that's taking place on Saturday morning, the 23rd, where you'll
Yes.
address everyone. What is a session like that? What's the experience going to be like for someone that's sitting in the room?
Um, I think that I'm a different kind of a keynote speaker, if you will, in that I'm not formulaic. I don't say, okay, well, I'm going to talk about this, and then I'm going to, obviously there's planning involved. I mean, hello, it's a presentation, and I want to make sure that people get value, and I respect their time as well. But I'm not looking to go in and talk at people. It's not my style. I speak with people. And so, because I am a business owner myself, I know exactly where they are. I know exactly what's going on. And so, it's my intention during my keynote to actually develop a rapport with them, more the ones who don't know me, and develop more of a rapport with those who do know me, and really have what I call knowledge transfer. Ultimately, at the end of this keynote, I want people to walk away with two or three things that they feel empowered to do. I want them to feel like, you know what, that's something that I can do. I don't need to be a technical wizard to do that. It doesn't feel like I'm adding more to my already busy schedule. I can go in and I can make that change on my Twitter profile, or I can go in and I can make that tweak on my blog. And so ultimately, what I want to do is I want to give them some tools and some information so that they feel like, wow, not only was this rah rah empowering and oh my gosh, you can do it, go, 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 Tony Robbins style, but also there are some action items that they can uh, put in play right when they get back to their office or when they go back up to their room that night so that they feel like they got something out of it. That's so important. There are so many talking heads today and people talking at people, and you don't know who to listen to, and you don't know who's right. And, it's social media has become like, health, the health situation, right? So one person says a cup of coffee a day is great, and then another doctor says, oh no, you're going to die if you have a cup of
Right.
coffee every day. Social media has become that way. And ultimately, what I would love to do, just me, as this kind of information vessel, if you will, is to provide some balance there, to stop the boat from rocking so much and just provide some balance there so that people can say, okay, this is something that I can do. And I think so often social media is presented as like kind of this ninja black box judo. You need to, be a specialist in order to do it. It's really not. It's really about you, your preferences, and marrying those preferences with your audience. And so I think that my keynote, it's my intention with this keynote is to give them a little of that. Give them me, right? So I'm a little offbeat and interesting and zany and that sort of thing, but also to give them some stuff that they can take home and say, okay, I can do this. This
Right.
is doable for me.
Right. Right. And I think that's so important to have something to take away and
Yeah.
really put into action. Makes it all worthwhile as an attendee. When you leave empty, when you have nothing that you can put into action. And I love when you say when you get to the hotel room. For me, a lot of times I'm finding things out from people, and I'm already doing it right on my phone, and I'm bookmarking websites and things like that. And I think those important uh, pieces of information that people can put into action right away are just so incredibly vital in this environment.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Awesome.
I think just from talking to you, I can understand that you have this sense of calm that you can kind of put out to people and get them out of that panic state of
Yeah.
social media. Because, let's face it, anyone that you hear out there that claims to know everything about social media at this point is just full of it because we're
Totally.
all learning about it every single day.
Yep.
It's changing moment by moment. And I know it's difficult as experts to stay on top of things. I can't imagine what the layperson is feeling, the business owner. So I think those in the know, like yourself, have an obligation to calm people down a little bit and get them on that right track. So I think that's you're spot on with that. Now, not only are you giving a keynote, but you're going to give a breakout session as well about blog makeovers. And we know just about everyone needs a little bit of a makeover on their blog, and maybe in other places too. But you're just going to talk about some blog makeover.
Yeah. I call it blog shame. So I totally stole that title from I don't know who I originally heard it from. I can't remember, but as someone said, people who have business card shame, they hand you the business card and it has a scratch out, and they say, "Well, I'm really sorry. This is an old card, and I'm getting new cards." Okay, so that's business card shame. I find that people have blog shame as well, and so that's when you go to their blog and they say, "Well, I haven't posted in a while," or oh, this is changing, or my design is changing, or my designer hasn't done it. And so, what I want to try to do is eliminate some of the blog shame and really get people to focus less on the technology and more on connection and providing really good content. I was just having a conversation about this very thing with a private client the other day. And she writes really great content. But what she doesn't do really well, and we're working on this, is she's not getting from behind her blog and connecting with people. She's not doing the connection thing. So it's not good enough to write good content. You also have to connect with people as well. And people always ask me, well, how do I get more people to read my blog? How do I get more people to visit? How do I get more people to comment? How do I get more followers on Twitter? How do I? And all of that is caught up, all the answers to that, it's caught up in your ability or inability to connect. So the degree to which you connect with your audience, that's the degree to which you're going to have Twitter comments, Twitter followers, and blog comments, and people reading your blog and
Right.
subscribing to your blog. So we're going to get into that.
That's
We're going
great.
to take a look.
I love how you conceptualize that. I mean, it's really it's right on. Everybody needs to to reach beyond that screen. It's, I think we've gotten complacent in a very short amount of time, by this piece of glass in front of us. So,
Yep.
yeah, it really needs to be addressed. It needs to be vocalized. People need to hear it,
Hmm.
to kind of believe that that's really the truth. So, that's great. I mean, I'm certainly looking forward to both of your sessions, and I was thinking about, as you were describing how you kind of present and things, I'm sure, and I know as a speaker myself, a lot of your content gets shaped sometimes in the few hours before your presentation based on conversations you're having in the hallways and in the elevator and people you're meeting. And so I think it's going to be a very fresh, up to the moment kind of a presentation. I can just sense it. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that.
We're gonna have fun.
Yeah.
I don't want to scare the daylights of everybody. We're gonna have fun too.
Good. I think we're going to shake up Salt Lake City a little bit.
Yeah.
So that'll be great, and hopefully everyone will be able to join us out there and in Salt Lake City and see Lena.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I hope they do. I hope everyone who can join us will join us live because there's an energy live, and I'm just glad that this year that we're extending this to
Yep.
people who can't make it,
Yeah.
and so I'm really happy for that because this is again extending the connection.
Right. Exactly. And we're very happy to be producing the online experience for Blogpaws this year, and certainly we don't profess to have the online experience replace the in-person experience, because so much of learning at a conference like this takes place outside the doors of the classrooms. It's sparked in there. That's the catalyst, but a lot of the benefit is being there to be face to face with someone. But if for some reason you can't this year, I would encourage everyone to choose the option of joining us for the online experience. Lena's breakout session will be part of one of the two tracks that we are presenting online, and it's more than just a video feed from the room. We will have that, so you will get a sense of being there. But there's some built-in interactivity so that you can ask questions live. You can comment to one another, to the other people within the room. You can talk about it in the social media feed. So it is truly an interactive experience, and will allow you to at least have some of that experience through the education that's going to be shared on the online experience. So we're making that available. You have some links right on the screen for you to go to register for either in-person or the online experience. And in addition to the live experience online, all of the sessions that will be presented in that manner are going to be recorded as well. So that kind of frees your mind up to know that if you're, first of all, attending in person, you can opt to get the recordings as well. So if you're in a session and you don't feel like writing copious notes, you know that you can always go back and rewatch it, and then take the notes then, if you feel that's necessary. So all of the sessions presented on the online experience will be recorded to watch again at your convenience, and that's available for both in-person attendees and those on the online experience. So it's really going to be very exciting to bring the world into Salt Lake City through the online experience, and you'll be able to see Lena and experience some of her unbelievable energy in those sessions. So, Lena, thank you so much for
Thank
joining
you.
us. I'm looking forward to seeing you out in Utah, and hope everyone will join us so you can see Lena West at Blogpaws 2012. Hopefully, you'll be able to join us in person, taking place June 21st to the 23rd in Salt Lake City, or right from the comfort of your own office or your home or wherever you connect via our online experience. So we hope to see you at one of those two places. Lena, again, thank you so much for joining us. We will see you in Salt Lake City in just a few weeks. You've been watching the Meet the Speaker series for Blogpaws 2012. I'm your host, Robert Allen, and I'll see you at the Blogpaws convention.